What's going on, guys? Running it back with another replay. We've got an Empire versus Lizardmen showdown on Death Pass. Just playing a little bit of ladder, running into Orange, who we've had some pretty good games against, and this is a really exciting one. We've got a Kroq sighting on the field. Where is he at? Here he is. On Grimlock, very good duelist, very powerful character, and just wanted to try him out. I haven't played Lizards a ton recently, but relearning them a little bit, just playing some ladder matches with them to get familiar again. Two Bastiladon Rev Crystals, I really like them in conjunction with Kroq. He accepts healing very generously. You know, he's got 8,200 HP. Rev Crystal healing is very powerful, really. I mean, it's a 10% heal. He has 7 uses out of each one of these Bastiladons. You unsummon them, you can get them back in the pool to do more healing. Very powerful. Tons of skink cohorts here. Amexon Barbs moving out to the number 3 just to cap that up. Not really seeing anything super worthwhile here in the middle to fire at. And some early javelin firing, some big damage on the Free Company Militia. Chipping them down really nicely. Feral Cold Ones looking to scream in and get after these Free Company. Spearmen going to be buffering them out in just a moment. I'm probably going to be rampaging them. Kroq in the meantime, putting a harmonic convergence on him just so that he can hit the steam tank a little bit better. Master Engineer on the steam tank can be very annoying to deal with. And I was kind of expecting him to come in, so I thought Kroq might be a good answer to that. And Kroq can also fight Karl Franz, other units like that. And it's going pretty okay for me right now. I'm taking a lot of damage. Really beautiful Awakening, or Dwellers Below, I should say. Hitting both of these Skink Cohort Javelins and just doing disgusting amounts of damage to them. Chipping them down to less than half of their HP. Amexon Barbs do take this middle objective. Zentler's Reichsguard sitting up on the high ground. I did see them get summoned out. I am kind of leaving these guys here for a moment to try and get some fire on them, but with this huge break that's happening in the middle, pulled all of my attention back over into what I needed to do to get back into a winning position on the middle objective here. My opponent doesn't have a lot moving up onto the points themselves, but I do definitely want to do my best to try and hang on to them. I do notice the Zentler's Reichsguard screaming out of the forest. They do kind of catch the Amexon Barbs here, taking a decent chunk of damage. I have some red-crested skinks moving out to help them, and I do turn the Amexon Barbs around just to fight these Zentler's Reichsguard. They've got okay melee defense. They've got AP and poison, so they can do a little bit of damage. Going to be using some Cold One Spear Riders that I'm summoning out to try and buffer off these guys now. Taking about half HP on the Amexon Barbs in the meantime. Kroq getting pummeled pretty badly by handguns back here. Or sorry, the Nuln Ironsides. Nuln Ironsides coming out. Very rare sighting of these guys. You don't see them a tremendous amount, but they're honestly not a half-bad unit. They've got pretty decent combat stats in melee. Very quick-firing missile unit as well, which is really worth something. You know, every 7 seconds firing an AP missile at 145-meter range, that's really not bad at all. Bastiladons are pretty trapped up in spears. We do have some spears fighting the Grundles, or some skink cohorts fighting the Empire Spears here, Grundle's Defenders. Bastiladons just hanging around here. They're fighting some Spearmen. The Nuln Ironsides are moving up, looking to get some more shots on Kroq here. Probably should be shooting the Rev Crystals, though, forcing me to use my heals on them. But the Rev Crystals are in a pretty good spot to just sit here and eat fire and also just heal one another. That's another good use of bringing 2 of them, so that they can actually pop the heals on one another. Keep themselves nice and healthy. They also have a pretty chunky HP pool. Get a lot of benefit out of that. The Zentler's Reichsguard, my opponent lapsing micro a little bit too long on these guys, and they do get caught by the Spear Riders. And with the red-crested skinks moving up now, once they get here, I'm going to be replacing them into the front line and get the Cold One Spear Riders moving back up into the middle. Amexon Barbs looking to get a few shots in here with those very heavy AP missiles that they have. just excellent damage. You can see just a couple of shots takes a decent chunk out of these guys, about 100 HP. More shots going in there, and the red-crested skinks are going to be very effective at chipping those guys down from here. Back in the middle, we do have a hold on this objective. The Sunmaker coming out already with 200 kills. I mean, it just racks them up, and my skink cohort's very tightly packed units just getting absolutely wrecked right now by that very expensive artillery piece. Very unfortunate for me, but I am getting a nice fight out here with Kroq against the Master Engineer on the steam tank, who's taking a lot of work from old Kroq G right now. Now, Kroq does have Hand of the Gods. I haven't used any of it yet. The game plan was to get Master Engineer really low and try to just obliterate him because, you know, I figured there might be a regrowth or a Earthblood caster just here. And finally getting some magic online, some very offensive magic, I should say. I've been popping Harmonic Convergence pretty regularly, but Comet of Cassadora comes in there, smacks up the Spearmen. They get terrified immediately, thanks to the Bastiladons having terror. And Empire Knights running for their lives while Kroq just smacking up on some swordsmen, trying to use Hand of the Gods right here. Finally get it off and almost kill Master Engineer. Master Engineer 196 HP. The fire from the Sunmaker has been obliterating troops of both types. Some of my units have been getting killed. He's been losing a lot of infantry firing at the bunched up units that are out here on the field. Kroq gets a nice blow against the Master Engineer, but a really good regrowth goes down. Is able to preserve this guy and keep him alive, and I can't dive too deep back here. I don't know exactly what my opponent might be bringing out and summon. Some Flagellants making their way out onto the field, and the Zinthler's Reichsguard kind of being forgotten about back here. He cycle charged him one time, got a nice little chunk of damage on the red-crested skinks, but then just forgot about them, and that's very unfortunate for my opponent. They really would have been useful up here in this middle fight. Big fight developing here with the Amexon Barbs have really not been able to shoot, unfortunately. My opponent's been very good about locking these guys down in combat. I'm pretty thin, and the Sunmaker has been just destroying my infantry, so I'm basically throwing everything I can up onto this objective and trying to get into combat so that when the Sunmaker is actually landing strikes, you can see how much damage it's done to its own spearmen. And the like, very nice situation for me. And another Comet of Cassadora coming down onto this fight in front of the Amexon Barbs. Big damage, wrecks the Empire Knights. Basically finishes the Swordsmen, and they get terrified yet again thanks to the Bastiladons, man. Terror on these Bastiladons has been pretty clutch. Kroq fighting against the Nuln Ironsides and the Free Company Militia, doing a bunch of damage to both of those units. Very low for each of them. And really seriously pushed back, and Kroq just has been eating heals all game, getting very healthy yet again. More Rev Crystal heals on the table. I've got 4 left on each of these guys. This one actually has 5 left. Planning on using this Rev Crystal on old Kroq there. Very nice situation for me, getting another 10% heal. And on his big HP pool, you know, it's 800 health that he's getting each time I'm casting that, which is pretty significant healing. Amexon Barbs and the Chameleon Skinks not fearing the Sunmaker. Sunmaker used all its ammo and has been unsummoned now. Ripperdactyls flying overhead. Coldwind Spear Riders getting a decent amount of value here, with some red-crested skinks also providing a little bit of assistance to them. And the Ripperdactyls about 400 value on them right now, with Amexon Barbs doing a lot of damage to these Flagellants, and a Hand of the Gods goes down. Karate chops the Master Engineer. Landship on the field, but my opponent, losing the Lord, is going to call it there. Don't really blame him. He didn't have a ton left on the field. The Master Engineer was very low, and not having the leadership was pretty much just game at this point. I did a very good job of just keeping Kroq alive, popping heals a couple of times on some of the other units I had out on the field with the Rev Crystals, developing outsourced spears, and locking down this objective over here with the Red Cresteds. Pretty dominant position for me, and all of his units would just be routing from the terror that I do have available in the Bastiladons. I think Kroq might also have it. Not 100% sure. Don't really remember. But man, Kroq with 3,700 value on this guy, just beating the hell out of the Master Engineer. Definitely hard carrying that game for me. Nuln Ironsides trying to do their best to kill Crocky, but he got after them eventually and took a decent chunk of HP out of them, in conjunction with some Feral Cold Ones doing some damage to him, as well as I think the Rev Crystals also were on top of these guys for a bit. Beautiful situation for me. And that's going to be it for this one, guys. I hope you all enjoyed this. Just showing off some of the values before I go. And yeah, the Sunmaker, 346 kills. Probably even more. I don't think it counts friendly kills, but watching that game back, I noticed it just obliterating Empire State Troopers aplenty. Probably did as much damage to his own forces as it did to me. And that's one way to counter this thing, really and truly, is to just run into melee combat as quickly as possible and just make your opponent pay as much as you are. I didn't really have any high-value infantry out anyways. You know, a lot of the good value it got was on the Spear Riders, and the Spear Riders still did okay with about 700 damage. Fire Leech Bolas never came out, but they're kind of interesting unit. I kind of like them, but that's going to be enough for me. I don't want to spend too much time breaking this one down at the end here. So I'll leave it off here, guys. I hope y'all enjoyed. GG's.